Your Miami Heat back in the win column yesterday, beating the Detroit Pistons. A much-needed W yesterday from your Miami Heat, led, of course, by Bam Adebayo. Had that jumper, Leroy, yesterday. It was wet, splashing it. He was going out there, fadeaways, right in people's face, doing everything you want the max guy to do to carry you to a win over a terrible Pistons team. I love it. Much needed, because it was an awful first quarter. I mean, my God.
Could you imagine having to go to work and then you get there 2 hours early and they say, nah, you're playing 5 hours later?
I imagine that would be a pain in the butt, especially if you do you think they leave or you think they just hang out there all day?
No, where are you gonna go? They're trying to keep your ass from getting the Rona. They're gonna keep you there.
So you don't think Bam went over to Five Guys at Bayside?
No. No.
I mean, in rain delays in Major League Baseball, you just bust out a good old game of cards, but I don't think you could play cards in the Rona era.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think
here, you can probably do whatever you want in the locker room because everybody there is clean.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I do know that it got intense in one of the timeouts in the first quarter, led, of course, by Goran Dragić, who was getting into everybody's face, saying they were playing like bums. And so here's Gogi after the game, asked, hey, Gogi, what'd you say to the guys?
Oh, no, you can't ask honest Gogi?
And this is what Gogi had to say.
A lot of things to say in that timeout. What can you recall from that, and what was sort of the message at that point?
I mean, I was just honest. I told them we are around and they're playing harder than us, and in offense we had a couple of open shots, we missed those, and from there on, when we don't make shots, it's our defense is just not there, and they didn't feel us the first quarter, but then the bench came in and they did a really amazing job to bring us back in.
Dump.
Gogi just foul-mouthed. It was like hearing Mickey Mouse curse. I was like, what?
He can't understand English, but he knows all of the cuss words.
It was unbelievable. I was like, whoa, Gogi.
Well, what did you think was going to happen when he said, if I'm honest?
If I'm honest, we were bull bleeping around, playing like a real bunch of bleep heads.
Gogi. You knew something was coming.
I thought he was going to say, if I'm honest.
That's not honest.
We weren't playing up to the culture or something like that. He goes,
the guys asked him, what do you remember saying? If I'm honest, exact words are coming.
It's like you might as well just it's like the catcher could throw down. He goes, hey, curveball's coming. He could tell you what the pitch is. He goes, if I'm on, you better hold on to your hats. If he says the word honest is honest. Yep. He's gonna tell you.
If I'm honest.
It's unbelievable.
You appeared to have a lot of things to say in that timeout. What can you recall from that, and what was sort of the message at that point?
I mean, I was just honest. I told them we are around and.
Dump.
Oh man, so great.
I mean, are you feeling any I think I'm gonna reserve all opinions till we get the starting five that was intended. Because I can't
five straight games of Jimmy Butler.
One of the reasons why your bench players are your bench players in most cases is because they can't do it every night.
Yep.
And it's hard because when you see your team play and you want your team to win, you don't care about that fact.
I think the things I think when you're playing as bad as they've been playing, and also there's been so much inconsistency, you're just looking for little victories. Kendrick Nunn yesterday played great. I haven't seen Kendrick Nunn play a game that good in a long time. That was definitely meaningful because, you need somebody who can shot create. He looked like, the guy who won the consecutive Rookie of the Month awards last year. I haven't seen that guy in a long time. So that was good to see. Mo Harkless played his best game as a Heat player. Really playing great defense, what they brought him here for, because he was basically unplayable. And then, Bam basically carrying them in the fourth quarter. And he's been getting to the free throw line like crazy this year. And John Crotty mentioned this, how he's upped his percentage by almost in the 80 percentile now. So that's just a huge weapon. I think he's just outside the top 10 in free throw attempts per game. And now he's making them at a clip of 80. Like, that's where you start taking star jumps, like, because you're getting production, but you don't have to work for everything. Right. And like, dude, that jump shot is wet. He's still like, you will yell at the screen. I mean, a good 6-7 times during a game, like, because it feels like he could take that 28 and he could on a given night make it 38. It feels like he could do that.
Right.
And he just, and I know that, look, I know there's other places where, he's kicking out a bullet to Mo Harkless and he's hitting three. I get that. But you're the best guy. There's going to come a time where he's got to realize he's the best offensive option on the court. And when that happens, I really think we're going to see like 35-point games, not on an average, but like I think he'll do it on the reg. I think
he'll hit 2 or 3 threes or something like that, and that'll get that 19 points to 30.
Yeah.
I just think, and I don't care what he does. I've been saying for 2 years, he need to take that shot because it looks too good for him not to miss to pass up on the opportunity. I like him to get, a little farther away from the rim, take a couple of threes every now and then. But every time I see the stupid dribble handoff, I want to jump through my screen. He's past that, dude. He's past dribble handoff guy. He's a scorer.
I know, but part of that is he's getting Duncan involved. Like, part of that is
okay. That's fine. That's fine. Get him involved. You can't be a point center or point forward or whatever and do dribble handoff. That's for the other guys. Because guess what? If you're gonna do a dribble handoff, and you're gonna do either and you're gonna set screens, right? At some point, you got to stop and pop. You can't keep rolling to the rim. And if you're not going to do that, and it's not an option, they're not going to take you serious. That's the whole point, is that he is too good of a player for every time he gets that shot, it's open because they don't even consider him a threat.
I don't disagree with you. He is starting to hit a lot of them in people's faces now too. But yeah, I'm with you.
Fadeaways,
I want to see it more. I want to see
exactly.
And then once they think he's going to go to that, I want him to blow past. I was screaming at my television yesterday because Plumlee funked it on him real good yesterday. Bobby, I said funk.
I know, that was too close to call.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Dump.
Wow.
Me and go.
It's funny. Sometimes we may hear 5 of Robbie talking, but when it comes to that dump button, on time, on point.
Ridiculous.
I'm sure you can get it overturned later, but
thanks. I get my fine money back. Plumlee was like out hustling. He was getting a gazillion offensive rebounds. It was everything that you hated the way the Heat were losing. And so I needed to see Bam show up in that way in the second half, and he did. And I was happy to see it. And the texter who writes in, best Kendrick Nunn game I've seen since he got the Rona. I agree. Best Kendrick Nunn game you've seen since the Rona.
I would say like, and I'm gonna be fair to Kendrick Nunn because I've played on a team and I know what it feels like, and I can understand where he's coming from. Is that, look, let's be clear. You spent most of your career as the guy, right? And then you finally get into an environment at the next level and you're a role player, but you were a starter. That's hard. It's basketball more than any other sport, but it's really hard when, you going through the same preparation and you may get 1 minute and you may get 30 minutes. It's hard. And sometimes it takes you a while to get into the flow of things. And I would guess that some of his better games is when he's played in a couple of games in a row. to where he's played substantial minutes a couple of games in a row.
Honestly, dude, I've been surprised how much they've played him this year with how bad he's been.
But,
I'm surprised Spo hasn't pulled the plug on it immediately, and I'm sure because he's stuck with that and he gets that performance. Like I think he knows, like if they have a guy like Kendrick and that ability, like it's going to be very useful for them. So I give Spo props for not pulling the plug completely on him.
You got no choice.
But,
you see everybody. Look, he's thinking. I bet you Spo's thinking, man, we need somebody that
even when they've had everybody, like he still hasn't gone completely away from Kendrick.
No. Right. Because look, I mean, in fairness to him, in fairness to Kendrick, like he hasn't played to that he doesn't deserve to play. It's just unfortunate that these things happen. And it happens a lot in basketball, especially with Spo, is that your production on one night doesn't guarantee you minutes the following night. And there's a few guys that have that. Look at Myers Leonard. Like Myers Leonard will have a stretch where he plays 5 games because somebody's hurt, and he plays, decent, makes threes, gets some rebounds, a little hustle play here and there, and then you don't see him for a week.
Did you, by the way, did you notice yesterday on the broadcast, did you hear Eric Reed just absolutely obliterate Blake Griffin like every time he got the basketball? I mean, just absolutely crushing him.
Did he call him 4-6?
Might as well have.
And then he got
Robin, did you notice that last night?
And then he got injured like the final. He got hobbled like the final seconds of the game. He's like holding his knee. He's like, oh, there it is. Blake Griffin has had a rough night. 5 points and 5 rebounds.
Like
is that the biggest? You think that has to do with the franchise he took the money from? There's just nothing, like there's no incentive, right?
He looks like a guy, like he looks like he's just showing up to get a paycheck, dude. He had Duncan Robinson on him, and look, I love my sweet dunks. He's no defensive stopper. Blake Griffin didn't even think about backing him down. Like, just didn't even think about it. Just like sitting there, gives it up. And that's what they were marveling at. It's just like, man, he's not even thinking about doing anything. And there was a couple of possessions where the Heat would send 2 defenders. He goes, I don't know why they're doing that. It's not doing anything.
Wow.
I mean, just Eric Reed just coming with the pot shots every single time at Blake Griffin. And then at one point, he even acknowledged, he goes, I don't mean to pick on him. I'm just saying, just watching what we're watching.
But it's because, and I guess it has to do with what we were talking about earlier, the way he came into the league and the way he played with the Clippers, and you know what I mean? Like, you didn't expect him to just pull a Kevin Love, but even with Kevin Love, he was gone into obscurity. At least he still gets his 20 and 10.
I couldn't believe that when they said he was 31 yesterday, I was like, man, really? That's it?
Who?
Blake.
Yeah.
He's the same age as Jimmy.
He's one and done.
I know, but he looks so wide. Like, would you think if I told you 5 years ago that Derrick Rose would look less washed than Blake Griffin?
Oh, and he came out the same draft?
No, I think
Griffin was later. Griffin was later.
Yeah, okay. Griffin, I think, was the next year, actually. I think Griffin was the next year, but he missed all of his first year, remember?
Right. They were on that Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, like, and Derrick Rose definitely will give you flashes during a game where you're just like, damn, that guy, he can blow past anybody. He can still do his thing. Blake Griffin doesn't look like he can do anything.
When I think of Derrick Rose, the first thing that comes to mind is, still playing.
Yeah.
Remember, he was the guy talking about, I wanted to get out early. Still playing.
Yeah, by the way, Blake Griffin has the rest of this year under contract for $36 million. And then next year he has a player option, which he's going to pick up, obviously, at $38 million.
You think he I think he needs a change.
Well, don't forget that he signed that deal with the Clippers too, and they traded him as soon as they were eligible that year.
That was a Van Gundy special.
Oh my goodness! Like, come on, and keep in mind when he signed that deal, wasn't a whole bunch of $36 million guys out there.
Nah, he was their hometown guy. He was on the Clippers. Yeah,
hang his jersey in the rafters and all that.
Yeah, it was 10-8 round Eric Reed last night.
Now they're gonna lay it down when they slide under the car to change the oil.
They're playing lethargic. Wayne Ellington's coming out here. He's dropping all the threes on your ass. Jeremy Grant, he was blowing past everybody. Mason Plumlee, he's out rebounded Bam. He dunks on his head. I wanted to go find a bottle of booze and just drink my sorrows away, Leroy. It was horrible, but able to weather the storm. Got some great stuff from the second unit that came in. Mo Harkless finally showing some signs of life, Leroy, for the first time since he's put on a Heat uniform. Kendrick Nunn looking like the pre-Rona Kendrick Nunn. That was great to see. And then really it was the Bam show in the second half as that wet jumper, or as Gogi was called. You have Gogi after the game, Robbie, yesterday calling Bam's jumper. This is what he thinks of Bam's jumper, Leroy. The Dragon very impressed with what the new arsenal that Bam's bringing to the table this year.
I mean, a lot. He put a lot of hard work in. You can see that jab to a mid-range shot is cash, and we want him, to be aggressive. It's worked, both ways. When he's passing the ball to Duncan or handoffs, he makes the game much easier for everybody else. But then he needs to, take his own shots too, because the team gonna be droppy. They're gonna be in drop coverage, or they're gonna be up, and he can, keep the ball and attack. And he's a great finisher, a great shooter, and we want him to be aggressive.
Yeah, Bam's shooting something like 85% at the rim this year. He has been super efficient. It's one of those things you get greedy and you want to see more of it. But anytime Gogi is going to lay the term, he shoot his cash, I am in. His mid-range game is cash. So beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And I love that voice. But he may have been dethroned, because my favorite voice in Heat postgame is our guy.
Yeah.
The return yesterday from the Greek Woj, Christos Saltas, who had some questions for Bam. And Bam took notice of our guy Christos yesterday.
Next, we have Christos Saltas with SDNA Greece.
Hello, Bam. I would like to ask you, before the tip of the game, how important for you was to bounce back and to respond after a tough loss against the Pistons? And also about you, do you feel more responsible without Jimmy on the court to lead by example, to be more vocal, and to lead on the court for your teammates?
First of all, my man, what time is it over there?
It's 6 o'clock.
A.M.?
Yes.
Oh, you're dedicated. You're dedicated. But I feel like I step in a bigger role when one of our main guys is out, and that's what Coach wants. Coach wants to put us in that seat where, look, you got to produce to help us win, and you got to do everything you can to help us win. So I'm not backing down for the challenges. It's one of those things, man. Like I said, I'm growing into being a leader, and I'm looking forward to the process, being a vocal leader, leading the pack. And then when Jimmy comes back, the two-headed monster of me and Jimmy, it's gonna be great.
Yo, our guys sweeping the nation, dude. Yeah. Christos is blowing up.
Yeah.
He is blowing up. That is the good. Like that voice though. It's intoxicating. It's such a great way. Like, I would answer anything he had for us when it comes to Christos. J Fig, you hear this Christos. What comes to mind when you hear this man? And he is getting into his journalistic ways. When you hear a Greek voice like that, does it not make you want to just answer whatever basketball questions he has?
Anything he wants to know.
Anything he wants to know. Bam is just like
Hello, Bam. I would like to ask you, before the tip of the game, how important for you was to bounce back and to respond after a tough loss against the Pistons?
This guy's the best. I love him so much. It's my favorite discovery of the bubble, Leroy. More so than the Heat making the finals.
You're probably his number one fan.
He loves it because I put
We've had him on the show.
Yeah, had him on the show.
We've had him on.
I wasn't there for that.
No.
People
I was there
back.
when you discovered it.
Yeah, people want him back. They want him back, Leroy. They want a
All right.
return performance. Christos told me last night on Twitter, whenever we want.
All right.
He's
do
on
it.
call. So Christos, the return may be coming soon. I love it. I love him so much.
He must have been so upset when the game got moved because he was thinking a normal time game.
I know. His whole day must have been ruined. Think about all the things he would have been doing in Greece, because that would have been what? That would be like a normal primetime start.
Probably
And
like
instead,
9
he's probably gonna watch the game. And he's like, 3 a.m. Jeez, that is dedication. Like, how many Heat fans? If I honestly told you after the way the Heat have been playing, how many Heat fans would have watched Heat and Pistons at 3 a.m. yesterday, and you have to go into work the next morning? Like, what's the percentage there? I would say minimal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a degenerate.
Like,
Heat and Pistons?
yeah. That's but he doesn't know that.
What do you mean?
To him, it's just NBA basketball.
No, dude, come on. He knows what he reports on all the teams. He knows that's a stinker.
He does a lot of Heat games, though.
He does do a lot of Heat games.
Right.
He's committed.
He is.
Yep. But
how much
I would guess he did the Lakers too, then, because that's like this morning.
Maybe.
That's like 10. What? That
Yeah,
started
he's having breakfast
at 10:30. That's like 8:30 in the morning for him.
Yeah, he's having breakfast while interviewing LeBron on a Zoom session.
Hello, LeBron.
He would say that.
Why you no clutch when you shoot 3-pointer with 1 second?
That's where you would go.
I would just feed my petty questions to Christos.
Yeah.
Christos, that's why he lacks the guts.
No, ask him about JJ Barea. Like,
hello, LeBron. Why you no post up JJ Barea in 2011? Why are you asking about this, man?
that's 10 years ago.
I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
Hello, LeBron. Why you no answer Patriarch's calls when he was going to bring Pau Gasol to team up with you?
Oh, my goodness.
That's dedication, dude. 3 a.m. Heat and Pistons. My God. That's impressive. Christos, the man. Love him.